Hello, this is Paper Cuts Included coming to you live from the Ninja Turtle sleeping blanket, and that's how I know it's legit. And I gotta say, it's nice to be back. If this is your first video, we are a comic book YouTube channel dedicated to talking about comic books, comic book art, art in general, artists. It is run by me and my two co-hosts. We are all three working artists, and we just want to talk about what we love, and what we love is comic books. We put comic books under the quote-unquote microscope and talk about them under a technical aspect. What we mean by that is, we'll put books like Usagi Yojimbo #1 and talk about the technical aspects, talk about the artist, have a little brief history on them, what do they do, what works, what doesn't, what do we learn as artists, what can we do to make better comics, better art, stuff like that. So yes, I'll talk about the story, but more of the focus is the artwork. I'd say it's about an 80 to 20% split. 80% is talking about the artwork, 20% is story. But like I said, it's good to be back. I have not filmed anything in about maybe a week, I think is what that comes out to. We have a new video Monday to Friday, 10 a.m. every day, Monday to Friday. But I went on my 1 year anniversary trip with my wife to Texas. Wanted to go to the beach, so we went to Corpus Christi. So I filmed about, I guess, a week's worth of videos in advance. So this is the first video back. It was a good trip. I went to some pretty cool comic book stores, which you will see my pickups in pickup video next week. I didn't want all of this week to be pickup videos, so we're going to be talking about Usagi Yojimbo #1 today, and then tomorrow we're going to be finishing up our Frank Miller Ronin series, which you'll hear my opinions on it. Very Akira-esque. But before that, I said it's ran by working artists, so I'm going to show off some of the pieces I'm working on right now to prove I am. So I do a lot of printmaking. So we have this piece, which is going to be a Ronin piece, because I've been reading Ronin, and I usually make pieces about what I'm reading at the time. So we got this. It needs 2 or 3 more layers, and it's done. I've been rewatching the 2012 Ninja Turtle show, so I'm doing a neutralizer print. Real cool. I liked how the sketch is turning out. Hopefully, the print comes out really good. And then the big print, which we'll see if I get this done in time, is I've been rewatching the Mad Max movies. I just rewatched Road Warrior about 2 weeks ago now, and so this is my humongous print. I like this sketch a lot too, and we'll see how it comes out. And I hope I get it done quickly because we hit our summer subscriber goal, which is awesome. Probably about a month ago, I said, or at the very beginning of this channel, I said I want to get 20 subscribers by the end of by summer, and we pretty much instantly got it once I posted it to Reddit. And then I said, you know what, I'm gonna double that goal. Now we're gonna do 40. And during my vacation, the first day of it actually, we met it, and we got 3 extra. It was the goal was 40, and we're sitting at 43 subscribers right now, which is awesome. I know this video is coming out a little bit later than it was achieved, but it's awesome. I'd like to thank everyone who's been part of that adventure, everyone who's stuck around, everyone who keeps watching our videos. It means a lot. So the last Friday, or maybe it'll be a Saturday, it'll be the last Friday or the last Saturday of this month, we will be doing either a huge video with me and my co-host, or try to do a live stream. Probably big video because my co-host lives in Korea. So it might be hard to do a live stream since it'll be at like 3 in the morning if we do one. But we will be doing a big old video to celebrate it, and I will be raffling off at least 2 pieces of artwork. Maybe 3 if I get that humongous done in time. But I will be at least raffling off the 2 completed pieces of this. All you have to do as a viewer is watch the video and comment on, I don't know, there'll be some question I ask, and like, what's your favorite comic book we've talked about so far? What's a book you want us to talk about? What's your favorite artist we talked about? Something like that. But it'll have to be for that video specifically. And I will be raffling off 2 pieces of artwork that will be signed by me, of course, that are numbered. So it's a little rare commodity. Normally I would charge 30 to 40 for these prints. So you'll be getting it completely free, which is cool. And again, I'd like to thank everyone who's, contributed to that. I can't get to 43 subscribers without people watching my videos, and that's you. And if this is your first video, stick around. We do some cool stuff. So without further ado, we are going to be looking at Usagi Yojimbo number 1 by Stan Sakai. This is one of my favorite book series of all time. I got into Usagi during high school and hadn't stopped. I will not be flipping through this specific cover issue because this one's real beat up. It has the spine. It's probably being held together by tape, which you can see there. And I just opened it for the first time of me opening or owning it. I traded for this book. I traded a first appearance of Cable for this, which maybe some people crucify me for that in the comments, say I got robbed or something. I don't. I don't think so. I'm not a huge Marvel fan. That was one of the New Mutants was one of the books I got growing up because I knew it was expensive and it was a Christmas gift from my grandma. So thanks, grandma. So then I traded for Usagi. So essentially, I got this book for free, but I noticed it's missing the first 4 pages, which suck. So now I'm gonna try to track down a nicer copy. But no, I want to show it off though because it's got a gorgeous cover. This is probably one of the most iconic covers in my opinion. For it's you know if you're a comic fan, you're gonna know Usagi Yojimbo number 1 or the Albedo cover of it. But like I said, my co-host Dylan, who's been in a video, almost a second video, but that did not turn out the way we wanted it to. Audio issues again, go figure. He got into it, and then our other co-host was into it, and it was like, well, I better be into it because it's pretty cool, and it is. It is a great book about our main character Usagi just traveling the land as a Ronin. Get into all. If you want a samurai book, read Usagi Yojimbo. It's kind of the selling point of it. But I have my number 1 issue that I traded for and got on one of me and my wife's first dates, probably a month or two after we started dating. Then I have the first ever issue of Usagi I read, Senso number 1, and then we'll be looking at the trade I have of it. Another one I got really early on in me dating my wife. I probably got this one before I got to number 1 because I wanted to read it, or maybe it was afterwards, but who knows. But no, so let's get open to the trade. Or I guess first we do our segment, is it successful? And what I mean by that is we look at comic books and we look at the covers. When I mean successful, I mean, if you walk into a store, if you're a newbie to comics or if you're a veteran, you look at covers, and a good cover can sell a book, and you need to sell books. You got to keep your lights on in your studio, you got to keep new pens coming in to draw with, and you got to keep a cheeseburger in your belly in somehow. And having a good cover is part of it. A good cover sells books. A bad cover can snore. But a good cover should be able to draw in the, people who haven't read the book or have people keep coming to get your book. And is this cover successful? I will go out on a limb and say this is a 10 out of 10 cover. I think anyone who passes it is at least going to look at it. The colors are amazing. The character's amazing. It's simple, but yet it works so well. You know, it's just our main character standing there with a great color background. His colors really clash with the background, and it just works really well, in my opinion. You know, I just love it, and I'm gonna say it's a 10 out of 10 book. Whereas a cover like this, the trade cover, it's good, but I'd say it's maybe a 7 out of 10. It's just busy, and I don't like busy covers a whole lot. Like people might walk past it because it has all those earth tones and stole, and they might not notice it. But a book like this with those hot tones and then the cool tones of his get up, is it called a gi? Is that what it's called? Let me know in the comments. But I think everyone's going to stop and at least look at it. Even if you're not into, I guess, cartoony books, is how I would describe it. I don't want to say funny animal books because it's not a funny animal book, in my opinion. A lot of people put it as a funny animal book, and that's why I was in Critters. But I've never seen Usagi as a funny animal book. But no, it was a Stan Sakai, 1986. And as a comparison, I got a off the racks. We're up to 40 years of Usagi. This book came out this month, maybe, or last month. I don't know. This was one of my Texas finds. I don't have any comic book stores in my area now. So if I want, new comic books, I kind of have to travel a little bit. So it sucks. But no, I guess I won't flip through it because I could just talk about it for a while because it's real cool. But to have a creation from '86 still going strong, kudos to Sakai. And you see his artwork kind of, I guess not evolves, not the word, but tighten. He gets better at what he does and stays consistent. You might not think of it because it does look, like a simple art style, but trust me, as a probably a junior in high school getting into art, all I did was copy artwork. And Usagi was all one of those like it looks so easy, but yet it's so hard. So he proves his chops by doing something that probably a lot of people say they could do. You know, but let's actually get to look at the book. So like I said, we're going to be looking at the trade of it. Now I want to get the big, hardcover volumes of it. So maybe that'll be, once we get clubs and maybe we get some people joining those clubs, I can use that money towards getting the big on, trades and we can look at them. But no, yeah. So let's get into it. Usagi's a fun character. Like I said, if you want a good not good Usagi, if you want a good samurai book, if you just read Lone Wolf and Cub and love it, if you're into Samurai Jack, if you're into, I guess, just samurai in general, I think Usagi's a good outlet for you. It plays up all those parts. It is a, set in feudal Japan, and there's not a whole lot of those books, good books, in my opinion. Like I really like Usagi. I've been collecting it for a long time now. I'm only 4 issues away from a complete first volume of it, and I've been only needing 4 issues for probably 2 years now. But I haven't eBayed it. I have a stupid rule where if I'm like 10 issues or less, I can't eBay them. I have to find them in person. So 4 more. But no, like you can see, it is a samurai book. It is our main character Usagi Yojimbo, just kind of freak of the week storytelling. He'll walk into a village, he'll beat up some baddies, and this is his origin volume. This talks about, it's going to set up our character. And a big difference between this volume versus issue 1 is that the first issue, I'll bring it back under the light. This one, it's a black and white book. Besides the cover, it's black and white. So, if you also want a good black and white book, look at Usagi. The coloring's really good in the trades, though, and the reprints. I think they've reprinted all the first volume under Dark Horse or Image or both. Maybe they've both reprinted all of them. I'm pretty sure Dark Horse, or maybe, I don't know. We could get into that for a while. But no, so this is his origin story. Usagi doesn't waste any time, making 20 issues and then doing a berserk style. Oh, let's do a origin story. You know, we get just a great, first pager. Like if we're looking at the book, we see our main character and then we see him again real quickly. We're not, wasting any time. Especially not because it's this is your classical samurai moment. Our main character and enemy lock eyes, and what they do, instant sword fight. And this isn't a Marvel book where they're gonna have a third of the book be a fight. It's over in 2 pages, and it is 2 great pages too. There's several things that Sakai does that I love it when an artist goes outside the panel, the top knot of the boar or his sword just going out of the panel, his tassels coming down. I just really like stuff like that. I don't really know why. I think it's very subtle, very well done, and I think it just adds a little characteristic to the panels itself. And that's just something I'll always point out and like. And he does a really good motion here. All those big motion lines, these motion lines there, that's good. I think this would really be lost if this was in black and white and it wasn't If those lines weren't there, it would just look awkward. It wouldn't look like he was running. So remember that when you're doing these action scenes, is do those motion lines. Don't do too many. Don't get all Todd McFarlane on me now. But figure out that right amount and variation. These straight lines of it versus almost this Van Gogh approach. With like the swirls. It just looks really cool. And then other subtle things like there's a frog and what they call Tamagata lizard just watching the fight while it happens. Once the boar falls, with a comic poof, they're gone, and I just really like that. These characters didn't have to be there, but yet it's really cool to have that comic relief that they're leaving. You know what I mean? I just like that. I think it's a nice touch that Sakai did. You know, I will say Usagi is one of those books when some of the first comics I tried to make were samurai books, and I looked at Usagi a lot for reference. And hopefully one day I'll get that book out there. Every once a year, I at least try twice to get that book off the ground, and maybe this go around, I'll get it. I'm almost got 6 pages done of it, but I don't want to jinx myself, so we'll see. But no, the boar's dead, and there hasn't been a single, you know, dialogue said yet. The first 3 pages, nothing, and then all of a sudden, we get Jin, one of my favorite characters. I don't really know who my favorite character in Usagi is. I love Jin. I love drawing Jin a lot, but I also love drawing Usagi. But no, Jin, our rhinoceros. I don't know if mercenary is a good word, but kind of the anti-hero. If Usagi's Daredevil, well then Jin's the Punisher. But no, and we get our first dialogue, which is some really good facial expressions too of Usagi that Sakai does. The cautious look, the angry look, the mischievous look. I just like his facial expressions a lot. You know, but it's a who was that? Why'd you kill him? Well, I'm gonna tell you now. Here's my origin. So we're getting into that origin story very early on. We're Batmaning it. We're getting into Bruce Wayne's parents getting killed, but not really. It turns out Usagi in this past it picks up from him going to samurai school, or what do they call it. What does it say? Receive your samurai top knot, and they're sending them to the Dogara fencing school, which will come out later. And rereading this, I noticed Stan Sakai is really good at showing age. It might not look at it, but compare, probably 10-year-old Usagi to, I don't know how old Usagi is in this, but just really good. The ears especially. Look how short and stubby they are versus how long and pointy they are. He has dots for eyes, whereas Usagi has, full on eyes with pupils, those sharp eyebrows, you know, it just works, Like that's probably one of my favorite things rereading it is seeing how good at showing Usagi's age Sakai is. And also the silhouette test, his rival of sorts. What's his name? Kinchi, or we're gonna call him Kinchi. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing. I'm sorry if I mispronounce any words in this book. I'm not a master reader, but having Usagi's face more of an oval, Kinchi's face a triangle or maybe trapezoid. Yeah, trapezoid. It really adds to that silhouette test where we know who these characters are, even with them blacked out. If Kinchi's face looked more like Usagi, we wouldn't get that. So I wonder if Sakai really had that in mind, to do a panel like that, and so he made Kenshi, his face trapezoid just for that reason. So just think about stuff like that. The silhouette test, like we talked about. If you can black out your character and people can know who it is, it means it works. And here we got that right there. That's Usagi. That's Kenshi, just from the previous panels. But no, we're already Kenshi and Usagi are not friends, and they're already bickering on who's going to be the better samurai. And it doesn't take too long for I guess the call to adventure almost. Our young lion, or not young, our lion swords master and a bunch of Dogora fencing students, and I really like the coloring here on the line. It's I wonder how they came up with what colors were gonna be what. Or I'm sure he was on a cover. Maybe he was on issue two's cover, maybe. But I just really like the lion character. He's probably one of my favorite character designs. That big mane that touches the ground, his staff. I think he just really plays that master swordsman look. A lion's supposed to be the king of the jungle, right? Isn't that how that goes? But no, it you know, and we get that classic moment. Usagi reads as a great samurai just love letter too. Like it has all those great samurai moments. Like the young students are gonna be bitter at the teacher. Be like, oh, you're an old man, you can't do nothing. What are you gonna do to us? We're master swordsmen, and he shows them real quick. Without breaking a sweat, just cuts what 4 guys down, with just simple movements, And I also love just the amount of motion that Sakai brings to his artwork. His artwork, if I had to sum them up in a couple, one of the words would be fluid. Sakai does not make a stagnant book. It will change compositions, will be very, fluid, and we see that here and just in this page. The only stagnant is the master. And even then he changes the I guess the camera lens. We're a little bit close, a little bit further. And it helps negate the talking head syndrome, which we talk about in every video, but it's important to know. Don't do every panel like that. If you do every panel like that or every panel like that and just have them talking for a full page, you know, it your reader's not going to want to read it. They're going to think it's boring. It won't flow as easily. They'll put the book down. Whereas you change. I guess this is a better panel to talk about. From here on, you change the perspectives. You have it master in the students, then close up master, then close up on the students. It keeps the book flowing really organic, keeps it going good, and that's what you want in a book. You want your book flowing organically. That's going to keep people reading it more, reading it longer, instead of having just talking heads, because that does happen in books. I guess we haven't looked at a book yet that's horrible about it, because why would I want to talk about a book that's horrible at it? But no. So, like I said, his books are nothing if not fluid. Did I say that right? Nothing if not fluid. We'll see. But no, just really good fluidness. You know. But no, and here's the I guess almost the separation of the friends. Usagi sees this master and it's like, oh, I'm gonna train with him. He just beat 4 guys without breaking a sweat, and his friend's like, you fool. Those must have been first year students. You'll see, you shouldn't go with him. You're a fool. So I really like that rivalry, which does get addressed in, I believe, issue 2, to see how they've grown. One student taking the different paths in the road. You know. So Usagi goes to train with the master, and the master, I guess, very much like Yoda, doesn't want to train him. Just tells him go home. You'll be happier that way instead of letting him train. So Usagi waits outside. I love that panel with all that line work to show it's the shadow. I really like that. It's not solid black, but yet it uses those just the lines to really emphasize that. And Usagi waits outside, and I love these 4 panels. Showing him so eager to wait. He's gonna come out any second, and I'm gonna be his student. Then it's raining, and he's shivering, and his ears are flopping. Then when he's sleeping, he looks sad, and his ears are floppy more. And then at the morning, he's beat, he's tired. He's been out there for God knows how long. Even his get up is showing some skin. His ears are fully done. He's catching a cold. Whereas the lion's finally back, and he accepts Usagi as a student. You know, but not before showing more of his skill. He sneaks up on Usagi. Usagi was like, how'd you get back there?" And just really good storytelling, right? Don't I like how unique it is, and unique I mean is if this was a Western comic, I feel like it's like, yep, you're my student now. You know, I'm going to teach you in the ancient ways of the samurai. But here, there is a little bit of a struggle, you know. And then a great one pager right there, you know, with Usagi. We're establishing what he's been doing for, was it 6 months? All he's doing is menial task. What does it say he does? Uh, I gathered and chopped the firewood, kept the hut neat, tended the garden, and twice a day fetched water from a stream a mile down a treacherous mountain trail. Time passed slowly in the mountains, with Sensei hardly speaking, just watching me with his cold, hard eyes. I think the only thing that would be better about that statement is if somewhere there was the Sensei just watching. Every time I reread this page, I always look around, it's like, is he there? Is he there? You know? But no, he's getting disheartened. He's been doing all this for 6 months, and he hasn't even held a sword yet, let alone a practice sword. But almost like clockwork, you know, I guess not yet. But one of his other things is the sensei will just randomly whack him on the head as a sort of test. You need to realize that the world's not safe. You know, there could be a sword in every bush, behind every rock, behind every tree. And I just, you know, I really like the storytelling. You know, it is a great samurai book, like I've talked about, with some great artwork too. You know, just I love the cartooniness of it. You know, the like I'm sure if this was a Western comic, um, I lost my train of thought. If this was a Western comic, if this was another panel, there'd be a little, you know, bump on his head with canaries flying around it. And I just love that about comics. You know, after reading Lone Wolf and Cub, it's pretty nice to get to read a more of a cartoon because this book gets serious. Like it is serious. There is consequences. People die. There's love, adventure, betrayal. It's a neat book. But Usagi's not even safe when he sleeps because the master will just whack him on the head. You know, it's very what's that? The dog test or the gym with the Altoids with Dwight. You know, every time he gives him an Altoid, you know, it gets so bad that Usagi starts hiding, and that's when he realizes, like, nope, if I'm a samurai, I need to face it like a man. You know, I'm not gonna hide in a bush. But no, now we get, yep, I'm right on track. Is it more months have passed and they're in the snow now. And I love Usagi's snow get up with the ears coming out. Where's that NECA figure? I would like that. Where's the young Usagi? And don't get me started on the NECA Usagi figures. Where's our Jin figure, NECA? Where is it? But no, where he's establishing that, yep, you need to read your enemy. You know, you need to, before you move, or what's he say? I don't want to mispronounce it. The sword is the soul of the samurai, and his badge is station. To appear in public without it is a disgrace, but behind the soul is the spirit. When you strike, strike first with your spirit. Look into your adversary's hara, into his center of being. Know how he will strike before he himself does. Often the duel is over before the first blow is even struck. And I just love that moment. You know, like I said, is a great samurai book. It hits on all those levels. You know how you need to be more than just your sword. Your mind is as powerful as a weapon, and also having the master put a whole huge thing of snow on Usagi. I just love little moments like this. I love how it can be as serious as Lone Wolf and Cub in one panel, and then get that I guess I'll say funny animal book quality in the next, or Howard the Duck quality in the next is what I should say. And now we get to our learning process of even 4 months later from after that. So who knows how long he's been with the master at this point? Probably a year, I would guess. So what, from 6 months here to then, so we're going into seasons, you know, from fall to winter to maybe summer, and he's now finally learned where his master is. He can tell where his master is going to be almost. He what does it say? For 15 minutes he's looking at the tree and he's like, "Yep, nope, I guess he's not there. It's my imagination." And the master, punishes him for that. It's that funny we were just talking about the little egg coming up from the head, and yet it's there. Just those great cartooning moments. um always said look at Allred and look at Jeff Smith for cartooning. Also look at Sakai. To look at someone to be that consistent and improving his art over 40 years at this point, it's really incredible. So he's also on the Mount Rushmore of cartoonists. We're up to Allred, Smith, and Sakai. So what? I need two more for a complete Mount Rushmore. How many heads are on Mount Rushmore? I think it's five. Is it four or is it five? I think it's five. Or is it four? Maybe it's four. Okay, I'm getting sidetracked. But no, he's chopping wood in one. 6 months later, I love how we're saying now we're back to fall. It's just great all the time passing. It's not like a Marvel book where it'd be like, "Yep, you've been training for 3 days. Now you're a freaking master." He's putting in that time while also showing the growth. Like I said, you know, um, time has passed from student little baby Weevil to look at his ears, they're getting more pronounced. He's getting taller. um, so I just like that. It's a subtle thing showing that growth is, he could have had Usagi look like this little guy until he's an adult, till he looks like that. But yet we're seeing a little age, and I like that a lot. So do stuff like that in your books. Don't have your characters look like they're 14 until they're 30. You know what I mean? That'd be a little weird. But no, he's chopping wood, and finally he gets it right. So it takes him probably a year of the same test of the master coming and whack him on the head to finally block it. And that's what lets Usagi get his practice sword finally. And I love this little panel of talking about the different ways he needs to be a samurai. It's not just fighting; it's the tasks you do. It's archery, menial tasks, calligraphy. All those contribute to being a samurai, and that's a great way of saying it and not showing it. Usually, you don't have to show everything you say, and that's a really good way of doing it. Now we don't have to spend a page of him learning how to do calligraphy, a page of him doing sweeping. We summed it all up in that one panel. And that saves you pages and that saves you time. So sometimes take some shortcuts when you can. You know, and a really good color scheme too. I like how I wonder how it looks in the issue one. We're not going to bust that open because I don't want to rip it because it is held together by a piece of tape. But no, it's cool. But no, let's see. Now he's 2 years later. He still hasn't landed a hit, and we're not going to get too long. A great fight scene again. I will say this chain of panels is a little hard to read sometimes. Or did I skip it? No, I keep thinking I'm skipping pages, but it reads fine. I don't know why I said that. Maybe I'm just bad at reading, but it's good. I love the typography right there, the rah, and then there. It just works really good, especially these colors, the white, the red, and the black. That's just really eye catching. It really, they probably did that to break up from the color of the lion's black cloth, and it adds a lot to it, you know. Here's a fun game for you. Every time you see one of these Tamagata lizards, take a shot of milk. Of course, I would never condone alcohol. Wink, wink. No, or not wink, wink. Yeah. Funny joke, I guess I should say, for whoever's listening to this. Every time you see a Tamagata lizard, take a shot of whatever drink is safe. Yeah, probably shouldn't have made that joke. But no, he finally lands a hit after 2 years. And of course, he's just like, oh my God, what did I do? I just love that moment. He's not bravado, like, yes, I finally hit him. I did it. He's, forgive me, sensei. I just like that. I think it adds a lot to Usagi's character, is he's not a bloodthirsty, swordsman. He even cares about the people he hurts. It even in a later issue, or I guess in the next issue, they'll even bring up that Usagi wants to go to the town and tell the mayor so they can get him properly buried. And it's just cool moments. That's subtle things that help build up a character. Is those little character traits. Having Usagi care about him hitting his master, having him want to give the Ronin a proper burial, even though they bring up that he wouldn't have done the same for you. I think that's just cool. And this is the end of issue 1. This page right here, with cutting back to the present, with Usagi stating that all this talk has made him, parched. You know, so that's a great way to sell issue 2, is because Jin, probably like us, is like, what, why aren't you going to continue? What about the brigade? What about him betraying your lord? So there's 2 more issues right there that you gotta buy to read. So your classic cliffhanger is the storytelling's not done yet. So that's Usagi number 1. Great book. I've probably talked about the story more than the artwork. The artwork's great. You can learn a lot from it cartooning wise. I think it's a great first book for a lot of people if they want to get into comics. It's very easy to read, very just interesting, you know. But that's kind of it. I guess I'll do prose of it. I guess I just did. It's very easy to read, very fluid, very interesting. The characters are done very well. If you love samurai books like Lone Wolf and Cub, Samurai Champloo, there's not a whole lot of samurai books out there, is there, that I know about? It's a good book. If you like Ninja Turtles, read it. It's similar kind of storytelling in a lot of ways. It's just a good book. It has really interesting stories. I will say some of the early issues are kind of, I don't know, if not flat, but maybe campy in a way. They're very simple. Whereas, you know, in the later issues, it does get a lot more complex in ways. But there, like I said, there's issue 1 of that. We will definitely look at the rest of this trade. July is apparently Usagi month from a random Dark Horse Presents book I read, so we will probably be looking a lot at Usagi during that month. Probably a book a week. So there's that. If you've made it to the end of this video, thank you. That helps us out a lot. If this is your first ever video and you liked what you saw, like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell to keep what's the word I'm looking for? Notified when these videos come up. Like I said, we post Monday to Friday every week, 10 a.m. So I'm going to keep these videos coming. So hopefully I got an audience to keep coming back to, and I do. Again, I'd like to thank everyone who's watched, subscribed. Even if you've just given us 30 seconds of watch time, and you're like, "Oh, these videos suck." Thank you for even that. I can't do without everyone who's contributed to this, be it small 30-second watches here and there, to the people who binge my videos, and I know some people do. But yeah, there's that. Like I said, tomorrow's video we'll be finishing up Frank Miller's Ronin, which, a little sad about that. I really enjoyed those videos. Some of those have been our best ever videos. And the last Friday or Saturday of this month, we will be doing a celebration for our summer goal completion. And I guess now it's time for a new summer goal. I said, let's see how close we can get to 100 subscribers. I know that's more than, double, but hey, I think we can do it. We only need, we're at 43, so what's that? 57 more subscribers. We need 57 more subscribers, and then we'll do another big celebration. I'll raffle off even more artwork. But I will keep you guys posted on, that celebration. But again, thanks for everyone who's watched this video. Hit the bell so you can keep notified when these awesome videos come out. Subscribe if you found something you liked. That really helps the algorithm. It keeps the algorithm pumping out these videos to people who like this kind of stuff. And I guess I'll send you out some marching orders, and I'm out of here. Make more art.